Welcome to KIRKS Toolbox webinar, the Monster OAD solving front-end accessory drive or FEAD failures in the transit bus market. We're joined by our special guests from Litens, Robert Pegram and Michael Schmidt, to discuss the OAD Monster for transit buses and market findings and test results. We want to introduce our panelists. We have Bob Kirkman. He is the co-president of KIRKS, and he's been in the transit parts industry for over 25 years. Robert Pegram is a North American sales manager with Litens. With a career in the automotive sector, Robert is a dedicated professional at Litens Automotive Group, navigating the complexities of the industry with a focus on communication, account management, and operational efficiency. His ability to build lasting relationships with clients and internal teams ensures that projects remain on track and that the customer experience remains a top priority. And Michael Schmidt is application group leader and product engineer. Michael holds degrees in mechanical engineering and business administration from Western University. He joined Litens Automotive Group 13 years ago, initially focusing on the design, testing, and implementation of original equipment products. Leveraging over a decade of technical expertise, Michael now serves as the application group leader for Litens aftermarket division. So I'm Linda Kleist, your webinar host. We have Abby Thompson on technical. If you have any technical issues, please let us know in the chat. And we want to answer your questions. You can type them into the Q&A located in your toolbar, and we'll cover them at the end. So now we're going to hand this over to our guest speakers, Robert and Michael. Take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Robert Pegram. I am the North American sales manager for our Litens aftermarket division, handling our reman and co-man sales. With me is my partner, and Michael Schmidt, our engineer, who will talk more specifically about our OAD monsters. I will give a brief overview of Litens Corporation. And again, I want to thank Bob Kirkman and KIRKS for allowing us the opportunity to talk about our product. And we are excited about our recent partnership that has been put in place between Litens and KIRKS, selling and distributing our product into the marketplace. So again, thank you, and I hope everybody's doing well. Again, a quick overview about Litens Aftermarket. Litens is headquartered in Toronto, Canada, is the world's largest OE supplier of belt tensioners and isolating products. We offer the aftermarket's most competitive portfolio of belt-driven products, including timing belt tensioners, accessory drive tensioners, idler pulleys, and decouplers, OADs. Next, please. Litens does annually about 1.1 billion in U.S. sales, located at 22 locations worldwide, 45 years of experience, 90 customers worldwide, and obviously our portfolio is great in depth. We do quite a bit more in our OEM business, which is where Litens really originated from. But again, we're growing into the aftermarket through different channels. Next. Litens brand is worldwide, quality driven. It's a global leader, and is a solutions driven. Next. Again, back to our 22 locations. As you can see, we're globally worldwide. Our headquarters is in Toronto, Canada. The office that I reside in for the OEM business is in the Metro Detroit area. But again, you can see our footprint is specifically located geographically all over the world. Next. As you can see, our number one customer here is KIRKS down there to the bottom left. But again, we're a very OEM-driven company, which is a derivative of our history. Selling to the likes of General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, Chrysler, and obviously a slew of others. I think if you really want to take a deep dive into it, specifically with the OADs, the first success with the OADs with being a solution to some problems that Chrysler had on the minivans, the town and country minivans back in the early 2000s. So that was the beginning of our success. But now we've again driven this product through different channels of distribution into the aftermarket that includes the bus sector and certainly into the retail channels, into the traditional WDs and so forth. Next. Our global manufacturing locations we have 2 facilities located in Canada, and then as you can see, the rest of them with 2 locations in China as well. So we are truly a global manufacturer, utilizing the resources available to us in whatever portion of the world. Next. Litens has the ability and the experience to take ideas and bring them to market through prototyping, reliability and validation, testing facilities locally, mostly in Canada, and obviously the production as well, which takes place depending on the component around the world. Next. Litens pioneered the future of innovation in powertrain technologies. 1979, we patented the first light tensioner all the way through, and then really our OADs that we'll be talking about more in great detail were introduced in the early 2000s, and those are the OAD overrunning alternator decouplers. Next. Again, some of our products are the accessory drive tensioners, the idler pulleys, again, the OADs. Next. Accessory drive kits, hybrid drive tensioners, timing belts. Next. Timing belt tensioner kits, the Hellraiser, which is another specialty product that we deal quite a bit with Stellantis Chrysler, and the torque fit. Next. Hybrid tensioner kits, and some other things that we're just starting to introduce into the independent aftermarket. And then obviously what we'll talk about more in detail here is the Monster OADs. Just as more of an FYI, Litens acquired Doltz water pumps from a company located in Spain. Doltz has been a leading manufacturer and supplier of water pumps for the automotive aftermarket industry, mostly in Europe. Doltz manufactures more than 5.5 million pumps per year in 3 plants in Spain. And so we are in the process of introducing the Doltz product into North America. Again, it's been more heavily saturated into the European market, but you will start to see Doltz, the brand Doltz offered by Litens into the aftermarket through the likes of O'Reilly, AutoZone, Advance, and what have you. So again, that's just a little bit more about Doltz. Next. Again, the product portfolio are timing belt kits, timing chain kits, and again, no sense reading through them, but water pumps, again, is the mainstay for the brand and the line. Next. Thermostats, timing chain kits, and so forth. So that's at this point, that's all I have to present. I think before we move on, is there any questions pertaining to Litens and the corporation itself?
We have no questions that have come in, but I just want to offer, if you need anybody to travel to any one of those places, I'm interested in Poland, Spain, any border offices, I'll sign up.
Fair enough.
Okay.
You and I, Linda.
You're up, Michael.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And thanks, Bob, for everything you presented thus far. So alternator technology has evolved over the years, and the pulley technology has grown and evolved with it as well. So vehicles are demanding more and more electrical loads these days. They require less NVH and smoother rides. So in the in the history, it started with a solid pulley driving the alternator. Around the mid 90s, the OAP was developed, which is an overrunning alternator pulley. And in the late 90s, early 2000s is when Litens introduced the OAD, which includes the overrun function from an OAP, but adds a soft spring inside to help with isolation of the alternator itself. I'm showing a light duty OAD in the picture here, but the physics apply to heavy duty and so transit and truck alternators as well. So the need arises from both consumer comfort and engine changes over time. So more and more electronics are being added to vehicles. They require quieter operation. And then on the engine side, in order to improve fuel economy, they're doing things like lowering the idle speed, direct fuel injection, and cylinder deactivation. So all of that leads to bigger alternators, so increasing the alternator inertia, and it leads to rougher running engines, which is the torsional vibration comment that you see there. The OAD effect on the belt drive is increasing the belt and bearing life of both the alternator and the rest of the accessories on the drive. It decreases belt noise and flutter and many of the other noises associated with the belt drive. And essentially, it'll increase the life of most of the other components that you see affected by the belt drive. So we have a wide range of sizes of OADs. They'll cover anything from your smallest alternators up into the biggest alternators that we've seen thus far, which is 900 kilogram centimeter squared inertia devices that are on military applications or big transit buses. These parts are in production and available now, and so we have experience in the market. So let's talk about what exactly an OAD does. So as a designer of these belt drive products, this is a graph that I'm working with all the time. My design target is to make sure that the bottom of that wave, the trough, is always above that slip threshold that you see there. So slip is relative motion of the belt across a pulley. So the belt is moving at a different speed than the pulley. When we reach a certain threshold, you get noise and squeals and squeaks that we want to avoid. So my design target is always being above that lower end of the threshold. But I have to deal with tension fluctuations. So that's why you see this oscillating curve here. When the cylinders are firing, they're pushing and pulling the belt, and that's what causes the wave that you see there. And what I want to do is move my nominal tension down as low as possible. The lower the tension, the better the fuel economy, the less loss and the less waste that's in the system. And what an OAD does is it absorbs a lot of that excess energy, and the result is tension fluctuations that you see here with this green dotted line. So the amplitude of those tension waves is much, much lower than what we see on a non-isolated system. And that allows me to drop my system tension down, and you get the savings that you see on the plot there. Graphs are great. I love graphs, but let's see what that actually looks like in reality. So I got a couple videos that are going to play here. On the left is a non-isolated system. So that is tensioner. I think that's a AC down at the bottom and then an alternator up top with no isolation. And what we're looking at is quite a bit of tensioner motion and a tiny bit of belt flutter on the lower span between the crankshaft. And that is what manifests with that large amplitude wave that you see below the video on the left. On the right is the exact same system, same belt, same tensioner, same engine inputs. The only difference is we've added now an OAD onto the alternator. And you can see the whole thing has quieted down. So the tensioner is not moving anymore. It's not quite as obvious, but there's less belt span vibration on that lower span as well. And so less motion means less wear, means longer life for all of these accessory drive components. This is an exploded view of an OAD. So the way it works is belt the belt interfaces with the pulley directly, so power is transferred from the belt into the pulley. Inside, we have a wrap spring clutch, which will expand and contract depending on the application requirements. And then the power gets transmitted from the clutch into the spring through to the shaft, which is then rigidly connected to the alternator. So this is what is inside our OAD. So why use one? I think we had a small disclaimer we wanted to say here. I'm going to play a few videos now with sound. The sound is not pleasant, so there is some squealing. This is the current state of some of the accessory drives that we've seen in the transit industry right now. What you want to watch out for is, again, excessive tension or motion. You want to see any excessive flutter that you might notice in the belt, and then you're listening in for the sounds that you hear during either a shutdown or during a shifting event. So let me play those videos now. That was the shutdown squeal. Belt squeal during transmission events, as well as excessive tension or arm motion. And then another squeal there with the engine shutdown. Those are annoying sounds, and you can imagine if you're driving around and every time you're shifting, you're hearing it. The more and more times you hear that, it just gets worse and worse, I would say. So the next slide is also another video. The first half of the video is showing the current state of the belt drive. So again, you're looking for high tension or arm motion, any type of belt flutter, and then any noises associated with the events that are occurring, such as squeal or anything else that might be uncomfortable. And then the second half of the video, we take the exact same drive, we put a Litens OAD onto it, and you'll notice all of those things that we're concerned about have quieted down. I'll play the video here.
So, Michael,
So,
on those two, depending on people's sound through their system or their monitor, there was no squeaking on the one with the OAD, just the engine sound.
that's correct, yeah. So that's I think it's going to depend on the application, but with an hour or less, you can swap out the solid pulley with a Litens Monster OAD, and a lot of that concerning behavior is basically eliminated with a bolt-on solution. What we see with the wrong alternator pulley technology is shown here. So if a belt system is improperly designed or the wrong pulley is used on the alternator, you can see some of the things that we've found in the past. So the bottom picture is a tensioner. That's a Litens tensioner. The case for that picture is actually a light duty application, and we are the OE supplier of both the tensioner and the OAD pulley. In this case, the the person decided to swap out the OAD with some inferior alternator pulley technology, and the result is they ended up breaking their tensioner. So it can be an expensive repair if the wrong pulley type is used, and we're seeing belt damage and all that other stuff as well is possible.
And as you can see, road calls.
Yes, exactly. So, is anyone using an OAD right now? And yes, we've got a lot of experience with it. So we've shipped over 164 million over the last 18 years. The OAD is a proven technology. I'm sure if any of you popped the hood of your vehicle and had a look, there's a high likelihood that you're driving around with a Litens OAD on your vehicle right now. And we're now bringing that technology to the bigger transit and truck market as well.
Michael, can you go back to that last slide? There are some really interesting stats in that lower green section. Saving fuel. A lot of good there.
Yeah, so when a belt system is properly designed, we see in the range of like 1 to 3% fuel economy savings. We do not have the capability to test the large vehicles that the Monster OAD is used on, but anecdotally from some of our customers, we've heard that the fuel economy savings that they've seen with using a Monster OAD can be even higher than what we've seen on light duty applications.
That's great.
I mentioned earlier that we've got a full range of sizes. So there is the Monster size, which we have available for Cummins ISL and Daimler OM936 engines for ADL. There are some military applications that are using the Monster OAD, and in the aftermarket, we are selling it as a field fix. There's our medium duty range as well, which we have on Cummins X12 field testing, and as well as an aftermarket field fix. That medium duty size is also the common size that we use for our supercharger applications. So instead of an overrunning alternator decoupler, we call those overrunning supercharger decouplers. So that they do the same thing. They isolate the system, and they can be used to extend the life of supercharged applications. And then light duty, we have an aftermarket replacement for the Cummins ISB engine, as well as millions and millions of other light duty OADs out there in the field right now. So we can offer OADs as a service fix. So if there are belt drive problems that you're seeing right now on your applications, the OAD can be a solution to that. Again, it can be a pretty quick install, less than an hour normally, without changing any other belt drive. Like no other belt drive changes would be required. And on the light duty side, I mentioned as well 1 to 3% fuel economy benefit, and then we've heard some higher fuel savings from our customers, but it's not something we've been able to independently verify.
Like to highlight, can you go back one slide? That second bullet point there about the warranty, because in the transit industry, that's something that a lot of customers all ask about, and that's, I think, a key component to this, that it's not going to void their warranty.
Right. Thank you. Yes. So Cummins endorses the OAD. It is something that we're working on with them for some future applications. I've seen some videos up on YouTube of their newer engines being displayed at trade shows, and our OADs are present on those engines.
Again, just to reiterate what both Bob and Michael brought, is that we're the aftermarket group, but our OE team works very closely with Cummins, and they want to use the right words. They say our Monster OADs do exactly what they say they're supposed to do, but they are not installed for, I call it the first install of first finish of the Cummins engine. So again, it does not void the Cummins warranty. It is approved, but not necessarily endorsed, if that came out correctly.
Okay, and then we do really consider ourselves a systems provider. So we can sell the OAD as an aftermarket field fix, but really the ultimate benefit would be designing the system around the OAD right from the beginning. That's where you can develop systems with ultra low tension, and we would make sure that that no slip, no chirp, and none of those other concerning belt behaviors are present in the system from the outset. And we have a full lineup of belt drive products available. Obviously, today the focus was on our OADs, but we sell ADTs, idlers, and belts as well. So we can support with any of those products as well. And that's everything from my side. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
If there's one thing I'd like to add before we get into the questions, if there are any, is that and I don't know if you really touched on it, Michael, but I'd say probably what I've seen with the customers that are utilizing our OAD Monsters, and there's many municipalities that is their largest savings is probably in the downtime that they save of not snapping belts and going through belts, and having disabled buses, 5 miles from the shop. So I'd say the biggest savings that we've seen in the support of the OADs is how they will take a lot of tension off the belt and extend the life of the belt. Michael, do you have anything that you can add to a salesman's view of that?
Nope, it sounds exactly right. I haven't spoken with the municipalities directly, but through you and through some of our other sales team, I've heard the same.
We've gotten positive feedback from current customers and people that have used them, and we're going to be out in the marketplace answering more questions as we get around. Like you said, for the field fix, I see that as a big opportunity for authorities to improve their not only the fuel efficiency, but like Robert said, road calls. Those are costly.
Downtime, yes.
We do have a couple questions. One you may have fully answered. It was we see now this does not void the Cummins warranty, that Cummins approves it. What is Cummins as the OE engine manufacturer? What is their current position on installation and results of the OAD Monster? Do you have any more to add on that?
No, I think the key is that we understand the aftermarket. We obviously are an OEM supplier. We see the importance of working closer with, in this case, Cummins and the OEM, trying to get the product to be approved when manufactured. And as Michael alluded to a little bit earlier, working in communication with our Cummins OEM sales team, we have some upcoming applications where they will be installing the OAD on the engine for first manufacturing. So again, we understand as we work into the aftermarket, if we can get more of an endorsement or more of a approval from Cummins, it will really open and expand the door, because again, a lot of the trans authorities' concerns of my experience, which is not that broad compared to what Bob does, is that if we can get the OEM to endorse it, they concern themselves with warranty or the potential of voiding warranty. Although we've shared that it doesn't, they still really follow the OEM's lead.
Mm-hmm. And Bob, you could probably speak to the approved equal, that it will meet the OEM
Well, we can supply one of the things I was going to bring up is a remanufacturer and a supplier of new all heavy duty alternators, regardless of the brand that are on the transit applications. We can sell the alternators with the Monster pulleys already installed on reman units as well as new. And that's one of the things we'll go out and work with the authorities because that might make it easier for them, to do some conversions on their field fixes when they're changing the alternators out if they've already have it. And we can package that to where it makes sense, and then they'll see the cost savings and downtime, reduction of downtime. So we can help the customers with that.
Beautiful. We do have one more question, and it was, does upgrading to a Monster OAD require you to also replace tensioners or specific belt lengths for optimal system performance?
The Monster OAD would be a bolt-on change, so we would match pulley sizes to make sure nothing else needs to be changed. Ideally, Litens would have designed the system from the start, and all of this could have been avoided anyway. But in terms of an aftermarket field fix, it's a bolt-on. It's a bolt-on solution.
Because as long as the pulley diameter is the same, it shouldn't
Right.
require anything else, correct?
Right. And axial position of the grooves, we're making sure we match those to whatever solid pulley we'd be replacing.
Right.
Very good. Thank you. That wraps up our questions. So if our attendees have any questions that did not get answered, or if you're listening to this on a replay, or you would like a quote on Litens products, please contact us at kirks.com, or you can email sales@kirks.com, or give us a call. There's the number 313-933-7030. And we appreciate Robert and Michael, our guests from Litens, for providing a wealth of valuable information. Thank you guys for all of the work you did on the presentation and helping our attendees learn more about the amazing OAD Monster. And we want to let you know that the recording of this webinar will be emailed to registrants. It'll be available on our KIRKS YouTube channel and in our KIRKS Monthly News. So if you are not getting the KIRKS Monthly News, you can scan that QR code or sign up on the website. We're going to be continually giving updates for you in the industry that you'll want to be aware of. And we want to thank all of you for taking time to join us today. We want to keep you moving, navigate the parts landscape, because KIRKS is your partner for parts. Thanks again. Have a great day.